I just want to remind you to follow Balanced Up Academy on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, as well as IG. We're going to be giving you some updates and hopefully some motivation to start off 2023.
Let's
So,
go.
Go ahead.
I said, let's go.
Yeah. So, what we decided to do this live tonight so that as people are approaching the new year, they can start right now. If you're doing the 12-week year, or if you still are on the 12-month year, and we'll talk a little bit about the 12-week year, you're probably getting your goals set up, getting things, your framework in progress. So that way, hopefully on January the 2nd, because that's on a Monday, you will hit the ground running to achieve your goals. So we wanted to do a little give back tonight, and what perfect person but to ask Mike of Hope University. But I'm not going to introduce you and tell everything. But Mike, if you'll introduce yourself for the viewers who know, they probably know you, but then we probably have some that don't know who you are, what you do, and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, no problem. Hello, everyone. Mike Truesdale, the Hope Dealer, aka the $1 Million Janitor. I got so many aliases. I don't know who I'm gonna be in 23. We're going all the way up. But like I said, you can follow me on Facebook, Mike Truesdale, the Hope Dealer, Instagram, Hope Dealer U. You can reach out to me at any time for information. We've been doing this thing for, I've been doing cleaning since 2010, and I just started. I can't even tell you how I got into cleaning, but that's been like the common trend of my life. I can't explain how I get in situations, but once I'm in them, I'm all the way in.
And that's a part of trusting our process, right?
Oh yeah,
so,
that's the key.
When you say you're in the cleaning business, can you be more specific? Residential, commercial? Because people want to know.
Oh yeah, so what we focus in, we focus on medical office cleaning, and then we also do what you call Lean Six Sigma waste management type cleaning, where our job is not only just to clean the facility, but build those relationship with the clients to help continuous improvement of their facilities, of their processes, of their safety. So we specialize in health-focused, medical-based cleaning. All our chemicals are EPA certified to fight off all type of infectious diseases. That's a big part of our company during the pandemic. We were blessed to get a lot of major contracts because of the type of cleaning we did with the virucide and bacteria cleaning that kill germs and all types of infectious diseases.
Okay,
so medical cleaning, yes.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about how you went from franchise owner, because a lot of people don't really know the difference between being a franchise owner and being independent. So,
well, I'm gonna tell you like the easy way to understand franchise is say you'll be a franchisee, and just like employee, a franchisee is usually just a fancy word for employee, because when you become a franchise owner, in some cases you have to be an owner operator, or in most cases you have to be an owner operator of that franchise to see profits and dividends at the end of the year. So the franchise, you join under someone else's brand, and you pay them a continual royalty, either for getting you clients or for using their platforms or online portals to help maintain or get more clients. So with the franchise, like I said, it's a fancy name for employee, because once you pay all those royalties and fees, it's the same thing. It cuts into your profit margin so much you find yourself working most of the time and then trying to cut corners on labor costs and supply costs just to see your profit margin. But then when I'm independent now as a cleaner, it's 100% on all of our accounts. We have full control and responsibility of all our clients and all our accounts without that oversight of the franchise.
Okay. So, but do you think that, that paying your dues, as we all have to do when we start out with things, do you feel like being with a franchise actually helped you leverage yourself for when you became independent?
Yes, yeah. One of the 7 highly most effective habits of people, 7 habits of highly effective people was to start with the end in mind. So if you get in a franchise with that, what you just said, with the intent to build customers, learn the game, learn everything it has to offer. Yes, it was a critical part of my process. Great learning curve, and just like graduate from any school or academy, you get on the franchise not to stay in it for life, but you get on it with an end in mind that I'm going to stay with this company at least 5 years, 10 years, 12 years, whatever it is, to fulfill your franchise agreement. But I would just say, before you do the franchise agreement, really read the fine print, because there's a lot of things in that agreement that was part of the reason why I left the franchise that I really didn't know or read in the first beginning of it. So I would just, say, just read the fine print of any franchise agreement. They usually give you like a 2-week period to read it, but that's for that reason, because they expect you to send it to your attorney and thoroughly review the document, because trust me, there's a lot of hidden fees and oversight by the franchise owners over you as the franchisee.
Okay, so with that being said, a lot of people, and we want to, even though we're talking about your particular business, cleaning business, but just so that we know that there are a lot of people that, want to become entrepreneurs in 2023 or are new to the game as far as 5 years or less in entrepreneurship, that this brings me into the art of negotiation.
Yeah.
Reading the contract, right? Because some people are so happy just to be getting the contract that they don't utilize that 2 weeks, that time frame. So a lot of it, do you think, could have been negotiated to give you better terms and more leverage had you read the contract thoroughly, or had somebody that was, or had been in the game, or had been more knowledgeable to tell you the things to ask?
Definitely, because on that agreement, it tells you that the franchisor has the right to change or amend the agreement without notice or at any time. So that right there was a line in that contract that allows you to negotiate, because it says this agreement can be changed or amended. And that's the thing I would have done in the beginning, was to read those fine print in that actual franchise. I could have negotiated the terms, like a lower royalty percentage or lower fees for different services they offer.
Right. Okay. So reading is fundamental and a part of the learning process, because some people are just so happy to get places. And also, as a business owner, you need to have contracts in place, because you don't want somebody to get selective memory, selective hearing, selective thinking when it comes to business, right?
Exactly.
So if it's in black and white, it's there. And then I heard you say something. You mentioned about the seven. I can't.
7 habits of highly effective people.
Right. So you reflected on a book, right? So
Yeah.
the reason that I'm pointing that out is because a lot of people don't understand the importance of continuously gaining knowledge, right? Because you didn't
Yeah.
read that book in high school, did you?
No.
No. When did you read that book, or when was the first time that you came across that book?
I came across that book. I got it as a Christmas gift from an uncle because he knew I was an entrepreneur. So I got that book as a gift, but I read that book doing Bossed Up Academy. You know, shout out to Bossed Up. I read the book as part of my assignment, you know, so yeah, definitely reading is part of the process. It's mandatory.
Right. And so it opens up your eyes, and then there's certain things that we know or different perspectives when you read. So I put up a reading challenge on my Boss Up Academy page for people to read at least a book a week. But do you know how many books most successful people read? Anybody want to drop that in the comments?
Woo.
I said a book a week, and and just to give you a little hint, I was giving you a little bit of grace.
Yeah, what about 5 or 6 books a week?
On average, they do 69 books a year, which is a little bit more than one book a week.
Ooh.
And a lot of people, because the morning is the time of the day, Lamika said too. Yeah. So 69 books is what the average. Oh, and yes, he said 56. So you were very close. You wasn't too far off, a little bit more than one a week. But yeah, 69 books a year, because that's going to change your perspective. Just like your arms are muscles, legs have muscles, your brain is a muscle that needs to be exercised. And what better way to exercise your brain than, you was, she said, damn, I was short 12. Yep. So what better way to exercise your brain but through reading? Yes. But do you read all your books that you do, or do you use alternative methods?
For me?
Yes.
Oh yeah, well I do the audio book because as a cleaner, I'm usually always on the go, always in my car. And I've turned my van into like a learning center. You know, I'm always listening. I replace listening to the radio station, the same songs over and over again, the same 5 songs in the rotation. I have a lot of different audio books that allow me to successfully read the book. Even with the audio book, you can hear the original author read it, like the 50 Cent Curtis Jackson book or the Rick Ross book. They're actually reading it themselves, Will Smith. And especially Will Smith book, I know he took a lot of slack for the Chris Rock thing, but if you read the book, you'll have a whole different perspective and understand, not justify, but understand what happened at the award show when he slapped Chris Rock, but why Will Smith felt the need to protect Jada Pinkett. But reading those audio books, I'm telling you, they've been a game changer, a lifesaver for me.
Okay, and do you think, because a lot of people get so sidetracked and so off balance, and they got a million ideas, but you can only execute on so many. So how do you stay focused on what you're going to execute on and what you should that's out there in La La Land?
Oh man, I have a simple philosophy, and this is how I started my success. You must have a purpose, you must have a plan, and you must put that plan in action. You must have a purpose of anything you're doing. I don't care if you're going to the grocery store, making a checklist, writing it down, making that checklist always. It's like when you write a checklist and magically it gets done. It don't matter. Like I can say it, but if I write a to-do list, magically everything on that list gets done. So the way to focus, one, like you say, write it down and like I have that purpose, then that plan and put it into action. You have to tell yourself, read it, whatever, over and over again. So with even reading a book, you might have to listen to a chapter 10 times on the audio book or read it over and over. But I think most time to get something done, you got to focus on it and have a plan for it and know definitely what you're going to do or what you want, the results you want from what you're doing.
Okay. So this leads us into the next part. What else do you do besides your cleaning business?
Ooh, the game changer. Real estate. I call it a ministry. I know you say it's a business, but I know real estate is a ministry. It's the gospel. That's the main thing I do, and I tell everybody I've transitioned from the $1 million janitor to the trailer king. You know, I want to get these properties for the people. I had this vision called Section 8 to 8 sections. We're growing up in public housing. You know, it's always a trend of the mom moves there, the grandmom, the granddaughter, and so on and so on. And I just figured I want to see how can we start building a legacy of taking people from going to living in Section 8 like myself to owning 8 sections, 8 properties, 8 apartment complexes like we grew up in, or whatever, properties, because I found out real estate is like a life-changing industry for me. It's been wonderful this first year and a half.
So tell us a little bit, what do you mean when you say life-changing?
Oh, man. Well, joining your academy, Bossed Up Academy, we had a goal. We did an interview a while back when we first started, when you asked me about signing up for the mentorship. You asked me what was my goal. I said my goal was to make $300,000 in my first year of real estate. And I thought it was like, that's like twice my salary in Cleveland. And we sold my house, we flipped the property, we're working on a few more, and the $300,000 was so easy. I was like, what, $1 million? Now we go for $1 million. We make $1 million in a year. You know, that's my goal for 2023 is to make $1 million in 1 year in real estate, and that's very doable.
And it is. And very so when you say, and it's about thinking big, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because at first you thought 300,000, right?
That's not enough, yeah. That's not enough.
What you mean it's not enough?
If you ever been to Europe, you'll know 300,000. Well, you could spend 50,000 going to Europe on a 1 or 2 trips. So, if you really want to enjoy life and have financial freedom, 300,000 can't be enough. It won't be. I mean, this day economy, look, it's 300,000 is about 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom house. So that can't possibly be enough. Once you see the transactions, once you see the money hit your account, that's the whole thing. Seeing the money hit your account. You know what I mean? Once you see 6 figures hit your account at one time, it change your mindset. You forget about the tax return. I haven't got a tax refund in years. I don't even think about the tax return check because one real estate check will make up for years of tax refund checks.
Yeah. So, and then people will start saying, okay, you being greedy. Mm-hmm. But do you think that it's the money driving you, or what do you think?
No, I go back to that purpose. My purpose is to create generational wealth for me and my family. And the money is the reward. The money going to come with purpose. If you walk in your purpose, I don't care. Like I'm doing the same thing, getting 5-figure checks for janitor. You know, I used to be a $7 an hour janitor. You know, I do the same thing now, but I'm billing $50, $75, $100 an hour for janitor. So the money is just a byproduct of success. My clients, let me give you a quick story. When I first started, I moved to Indian land and I started dealing with a different type of clientele. and the lady wanted me to detail her van. And so I was like, man, I want to keep her as a client. So I tried to give her a cheap price. And what she did was something that never happened to me. So she was like, hey, how much for the van? And I spent like 3 hours cleaning the van. And I was like, $35. And she was like, what? She said, Michael, I'm insulted. She wrote me a check for $75 and I never cleaned her van again. So I realized successful people, they're honored to spend money with you. You know what I mean? So the money comes. Like, I had to get out of that poverty mind state of, I don't supposed to ask for much, or, you know, as a Christian, we don't, you know, a rich man, it's harder for a rich man to go to heaven, and all those things like that. I had to overcome all that and understand my worth and value, what I was bringing. And my clients, even now, they have to encourage me to charge what it's worth. And I think that's the hardest thing about money, knowing what you're worth. Then when you know your worth, you'll say $300,000 is not enough. I don't care if they say we're being greedy or not. You know, the same politicians we vote for, they raise millions and millions of dollars just for campaign, and they might not even win. And we don't question, you know, how much it costs Obama to do a speech. You know, $2 million for Hillary Clinton to come to your gala and speak for you. You know what I mean? When they charge a lot of money, it's okay, or your rapper or whoever. But with somebody like me or you, a regular person, then they don't think we're supposed to have that type of money.
So back to the purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you walk in your purpose, your purpose attracts the money, right?
Always, yes.
And so it becomes a magnet for money, because a lot of people I see and I hear a lot of people, oh, you always trying to get you some money. But with your real estate too, even though it creates creates financial independence, but do you enjoy it? Is it slave work for the return?
I mean, I'm gonna tell you, it's tough. I mean, you know, it's the grind, but that's like anything. I like projects, so yes, I do enjoy it, and I like to learn. I like working with people. I like to be able to provide jobs for the community, and I also like to see people create artwork. The guy that does my land grading, he's excited about what he does, and when he goes in to clear your land, he already sees the house on the land before he creates the driveway. And so you see my land down in Lancaster. It was a hill. It was rocky land. You would think nothing could be put on that land, but he was able to carve up the land and do exactly what he needed to do based on his vision. So with real estate, it's all about, like, you get to see your vision come to life. You know, the hard work pays off when that person closes and buys the house that wanted their home, or like I said, that contractor looks at their work they done, and you get to see all these people come together and do a job, and you get to see the finished result. And like I say, that's just joy, and that joy, it don't feel like work. It's hard, but it don't feel like work because of all the stuff that's coming together, not just about the money you said, but all the stuff that's working, all the visions that's coming together to make people's dreams come true.
Okay. Yeah, so I just wanted to point that out, that, you know, a lot of times people aren't driven by money, they're driven by their purpose. And a lot of times the purpose, the money will follow. That's just like if you treat people right, the money will follow.
Oh, yes, it'll come.
And so that leads me into the next step. How, you know, once you start, you know, making six figures, and you said something about going to Europe that could cost you $50,000, but what do you feel like are other areas that you are able to expand in with your real estate business as well as your commercial cleaning business?
Well, one thing I didn't mention is our Hope University after school program. And those just creating a wealth gives the opportunity to train the next generation. Give back to your community. I believe the best way to improve your community is not to put the best politician there, but I believe to go get the best entrepreneurs there and buy what we call buy back the block, buy back the businesses, become the commercial property owners in our old neighborhoods, renovated old neighborhoods. So, but the real estate allows you to expand. Now, we got a vision of doing like construction or renovations, like helping people like yourself in need of a good brick mason or a good, like kind of putting people in position, project managing other people. Because that's what I really like, project management. And with real estate, you can become a project manager over other people's projects. And then also you can start teaching people the process. So in real estate, you not only you just learn it, how to do it, you learn how to make money 2 times off of it or get success twice from what you learn. There are many ways you might get into real estate and like to do plumbing. A person might become a plumber because they like real estate. Now they go to school for plumbing, now they doing all the plumbing for all their own real estate projects or projects for other people. So I think real estate, it gives you like a broad of things you can choose from and find your niche, and you can go which way you want. You can use it to give back, you can use it to buy back, or you can use it to earn more. So I think it's unlimited with real estate, which way you can go with.
And you can have it all.
Have it all.
And that goes into your third business, Commonwealth. Yeah. Right? So
yeah, I mean we making LLCs and stuff left and right now. Can you help me out? Commonwealth, that's our real estate company. We want to expand to a construction company, like we say, where we're building homes. Go ahead and create those 8 sections we talked about. But we think Commonwealth, the name itself means we want to show the common people how to obtain wealth. And also with Commonwealth, if you go like Virginia, the Commonwealth, they create their own laws and rules. And that's what we do at Bossed Up Academy, Hope University. We create our own laws and rules. That's what Commonwealth is about, creating wealth, showing common people how to get wealth through real estate.
Okay. So now, if you had to go back to your 20-year-old self, back to when you were 20 years old, that wasn't too long ago, right?
Yeah.
And what advice would you give? Because we got a lot of people that are young entrepreneurs, young people that just cannot work a 9 to 5. These new millennials, they gotta, some of them, they just not cut out for a 9 to 5.
I'm not cut out for it. I know that feel, yeah.
But at the same time, we know that we got to have some Indians. Everybody can't be a chief. Mm-hmm. But what would you tell your 20-year-old self if you could go back to 20 years old? What would you tell your 20-year-old self?
3 things. For one, my dad tried to tell me when I was 20. 1, get into real estate somehow, find you some properties. I'm not trying to sound cliche-ish, but that's the first thing I would tell myself. Become an owner, whether it's on your own home, some type of land, family land, property. That'll be the first thing. The second thing I would get is life insurance, whole life. A lot of people like term life, they say do term life, but I'm a whole life man now. I'm learning whole life, how it works. So I would say get some whole life insurance and then start at a retirement investment account. Those 3 things I definitely would tell, because when you started at 20, by the time you're 40 and 50, you already have built wealth that you didn't even work for. You just been, you've been trapping off some of your money all along. And that's what happened. The main thing is, I'm saying all that, trap some of your money off. Have a definite amount you want to save and start the habit of saving. Because once you save, you have that money available, you'll be the one ready to invest when somebody had that good idea. You know, a lot of $1 million ideas started with a couple $1,000 investment. So definitely make sure we save. That would be that fourth thing I would say. Make sure start saving early with those type of investments.
Well, we don't want to get too far and too in depth with whole life, but some people, when they think about life insurance, they think you got to die to collect, right? And you said that would be, if you could tell your 20-year-old self anything, you said you would get that whole life policy to help build your wealth. Can you go into a little bit more detail to explain to people how is that going to help your wealth while you're still alive?
Well, not the word everybody like to hear, cash value. You know, it builds that cash value. And then you can use it. After a certain amount of time, you can use it for things like purchase a house, pay for your child's wedding. There are certain things you can use it for. You can borrow from your cash value, from your life insurance. And I mean, it don't have market risk. So it's a lot of things you can do. You can overinvest your life insurance in some type of retirement or savings account to build interest rate without market risk. That was the biggest thing that got me, that you can still build interest regardless of the market, what the market is doing. Your money will still build an interest while you living. So, and it's tax free. You can put money in it tax free, and you take money out tax free. So, those are just a few of the benefits that I know about, and I'm pretty sure you're more knowledgeable and, like I say, more in depth in it.
Well, and this is another thing. I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, I'm gonna go buy my kid a apartment. I'm gonna go buy not an apartment, but apartment building, a rental property, right?"
Mm-hmm.
But people are not talking about the wealth that is being built from whole life insurance policies. Could you buy your 18-year-old child right now a whole life policy if you don't have thousands of dollars, or you don't have the tools to know how to obtain real estate, right? If you don't have the knowledge, or you don't have the funding, which either or both, a whole life policy to help your child build wealth is far greater sometimes, right? Because they'll get to be at the lower premiums because of their age. They're in the best health, so they will qualify for the best premiums. So a lot of people always want to talk about, hey, I'm going to get my child a LLC. I'm going to get them, I'm trying to, get them a rental property or something. But this is something that people can actually do, and it doesn't take a lot to do it to pay the premiums. And so we got Dr. Harris on the line.
The governor
of the universe.
That's my boy.
Universe.
Universe.
Not of the world, not of the country, not of the state, but the universe.
That's my boy. That guy wild there.
So yeah, and Lamika's on here. She does insurance too. So she's second this about the whole life policy. I am so glad you put that as one of your three. And that we just touched on it so that people can know that you don't have to buy a property to build wealth. You don't have to buy stocks to build wealth. You can get a life insurance policy so that way you're not doing a GoFundMe. They got money that they can borrow back from themselves, right? So now that was your 20-year-old self. Now I'm going to ask you another question.
You're making it hard on the brother. Let's go. I'm ready.
What would you tell your first year in business self?
Boy, that's a tough. I've been thinking about that one. My first year in business self. Create a business plan. I know that sounds. How do you do it? But the business plan would give you, I mean, it'll at least give you that structure of know where you're going. The business plan answers these questions. Who, what, when, where, why, how, and how much. If you can answer those 7 questions, you'll even know if you ever want to be a business owner. Because that plan now, there's going to be a lot of things happening in that you don't plan for, but having a business plan, have a clear-cut idea of what you want to do in business. Most people just want to have an LLC, like you say, to be in the in crowd, or have a rental property or Airbnb, just to say they have it, or just to, but there's no purpose behind it. And that business plan gives you the purpose of your business. Why are you starting a business? Is this sustainable? Is this even a good idea of your business? Because I've lost a lot of money, especially in your first year. You're going to lose money on your first year. Expect to lose. Expect to lose some money because it takes money to invest to make money. But definitely that business plan would be number 1.
So, that business plan, because a lot of people, they just strike out, I'm gonna give me a website, I'm gonna start selling clothes, I don't know how much money I want to make, I don't know what my profit margins are, but I just know I want to make some money, and then they're spending out more money than they bringing it in, and then they're disappointed, discouraged, and a lot of them leave the entrepreneur world, go back to that 9 to 5, and never can transition back over because they don't have the right expectation.
Yes.
So the business plan is going to help you and start making you think, making your wheels turn. So what other 2 things would you say to a first year business owner? The business plan, and what's the other 2?
Number 2. This is 1A. 1A was business plan. 1B is this. Communication. When you're doing emails, read it. Because sometimes your phone will type in business communication. Don't assume people know what you expect from them. Even to when you let me give a prime example. I had a contractor that worked with me. And usually I could just ask people if they want to do a job, they would do it. But this guy needed what you call a work order to know if he wanted to accept the job. And I used it in, just doing business in the streets, you don't need work orders. And so he walked off the job. I mean, he just left the job, because there was no work order. He didn't know he was going to be doing all the items we were doing on the job. He thought he would just come and do some cleaning, and it was more than cleaning. And so the lack of communication, man, it ends so many deals. It stops so many contracts. Be clear communication, just like when we do a real estate closing. You have to, every line item, when I was like, Erica, when I call her, Erica, what's this for? What does this mean? What does this item mean? Clear communication will leave, everybody would know. People get amnesia, like you said earlier. Communication creates a paper trail. Like somebody said, well, I didn't say that. Well, you got the email thread or the text thread. Like you told me, if you call somebody, always text behind it or email behind it, because it could be in a bad area with no signal, or they could be on the go and it's easy to read a text. Communication is key. That was one of my most important classes at Winthrop University. Shout out to Winthrop University.
That's my school.
That's right. They have a great business program. And the business communication class was one of the most important classes, because corporate people love emails. And they get a kick out of, some people just get a kick out of going through answering and checking emails. So a good laid out email. Prime example, I landed a $40,000 a month cleaning contract. Not $40,000 a year, $40,000 a month, based off communication. As a janitor, I had to get on the call with the vice president of Novant Health and different board members. Now, I'm the janitor now. I'm like, and the vice president gives me the floor. She's like, Michael, what do you think the plan is for this COVID disinfection? This was during COVID. And I'm sitting there like shaking, like you got the board of Nova Health on the line, and you the janitor. And you got VPs, executives, and it went back to that communication, knowing how to effectively communicate, knowing your stuff. You got to know your stuff. So I just started talking what I knew. I started talking janitorial. Well, this is what we can do for each facility. Knowing what words to use, knowing the language you're talking about. I was in the corporate world. That business communication was key to me. And I was able to land that contract because out of all the janitors, I was able to communicate, send emails, and have a plan.
Okay. Yeah. So that is, so that comes back, and you don't have to have a 4-year degree, but Jim Rohn says, self-education will make you a fortune. A formal education will make you a living. So it goes back to constantly improving yourself, improving your vocabulary, and reading those books and listening to Audible actually does all that, because it actually helps you to expand your vocabulary, knowing different terminology to communicate with people in different ways, to think through the process. And also it takes a little bit of psychology, right? To read the room, understand people's personality, what's important to them, reading their body language, and being cognizant of different things that's going on during a meeting, right?
Yes.
And so that will always help to leverage you. Okay. So we got 2 things now. Communication, and the first one we had is the business plan. I don't know why I was drawing a blank. Mm-hmm. So what would be your third thing as a first-year business owner?
What you just said about self-education. The self-education, it was the third critical part of success for me. My first mentor gave me, he said, you want to be successful? I was like, yeah. So he handed me these tapes. I'm tell you how old we are. He handed me these tapes. It was like a book with tapes in it. And it was a guy named Dennis Waitley. Dr. Dennis Waitley, his job was he studied the success of successful people. And he had an audio book called Seeds of Greatness. And so I used to listen to this tape in my van when I first started cleaning. So as I traveled, I started listening to this Seeds of Greatness. And I was like, man, it taught me. Then it led to my next self-education, Think and Grow Rich, Dr. Napoleon Hill. And he started talking about walking in purpose and the 17 keys. And so I started applying those, what I was learning off these self-education, and I landed my first contract on my own through applying the principles. So self-education through those audio books or learning YouTube videos, I think is just as important as, the college education. And that's been a third part of my success. I have a lot of self-education mentors that mentor me. Some of them dead and gone that I still listen to, that their knowledge is still working for me in everyday life.
Okay. So that is very good, to be a lifelong learner. You never stop learning, never stop growing.
Very important. Yeah.
And just pulling in different resources, so you're not just using one source of information. You're pulling in people, you're pulling in books, you're pulling in videos, any kind of medium that is going to give you more education. And I saw somewhere where it says you had to do something at least 10,000 hours in order to be considered to be an expert.
Yes. I agree with that. Yes.
So being an expert in your field, being knowledgeable and growing is the biggest keys. So I hope that some of the takeaways from today will help people step into 2023. So get your business plan, increase your communication.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Figure out your self-education tools, learning what you plan to learn and what you plan to develop in 2023. So that leads me into what should we see from Michael Truesdale, the hope dealer of the universe,
The universe.
2023.
We're going to Mars. We're going to Mars. We're going to Mars. Space crew. But the most important thing about me, if you follow me, I'm big on faith. So 2023 is going to be a year of faith for me. You know, for any entrepreneur, just going to work a regular job, you must have faith. So this year, I want God to increase my faith. I mean, in a way that I can believe Him for more and more and more. Believe the Creator for more and more. This 23 is all about faith. You know, I got my new little tagline, the 3 M's. We got 3 M's going into 2021. Number 1, get you a mentor. You got to get a mentor. You got to get a mentor. Number 2, get your mind right. You got to get your mind right. I mean, like we talking about education, figuring out what you want to do. And the 3rd M is get your money right. You got to get your mentor, get your mind right, and then you get your money right. Because 2023, man, I plan to travel, take my family, create legacies. I look forward to doing construction projects, building real estate projects. But 23 is all about faith, walking by faith. That's it for me.
And so that leads into a lot of things to a 4th M, manifestation.
How you knew I thought that earlier today? Manifestation. Wow, the 4th M, yes.
Yes, so bringing it all together with a bow on the top is manifestation. And don't live in a impoverished mindset where you were saying when you change your mindset, it started changing everything around you and for you, to get out of that impoverished mindset. And then when you were talking about a rich man it's harder for a rich man to get into heaven. But we know about salvation, we know about God, and we also know about prosperity. A lot of people, they don't want you to feel like, or they make you feel like it's a sin to obtain money, right? But it's the love of money is the root of all evil. To have money is not the root of evil, right?
No.
The love of it is the root of evil. But God wants us to be the lender, not the borrower. He wants us to not famine, but to feast.
Mm-hmm.
And we only get one chance at this thing called life. And it's a lot of people, and I'm pretty sure you know a lot of people that are checking out. And do you want to lay in your hospital bed if you have the opportunity, if you just don't check out?
Yeah.
To say, I wish I had, I coulda, I shoulda, I woulda, or do you want to say, man, I got some great memories, and if I'm taking this on to the next level, I'm going on to heaven with these great memories, and that I've lived the life that I wanted to live, and not only am I leaving my mark here on my kids, but I'm leaving my mark for other people that's going to talk about Mike Truesdale in 2092.
That's right, yes.
So is there anything else you want to do to wrap this up, close this up, to help somebody to be inspired to go after their dreams in 2023 as they start working on New Year's resolutions leading into the new year next week? Sorry.
Yes. Join Boss Up Academy. I'm telling y'all.
Well, thank you for the plug.
I'm telling y'all now, if you want to learn like coaching, discipline, better life, I mean, knowing your worth and value, I mean, join Boss Up Academy. That's what we're gonna do. Look, I'm the spokesperson, you know, ambassador. I'm that's why I'm just can't. Even somebody texted me the other day asking me about shit they join. I was like, join, like you're gonna enjoy it's worth every penny, and it's very life changing. And not only I'm saying that, Erica, because I like your whole process. You not only help people get a home or become a homeowner, you help them rent the property. Not only that, you help the people that rent, you know, apply for grants or whatever those things. So you not only just help people get it, but you walk with us, you know, along the process, and you help us out there. You know, we finish your class, whatever. So I'm telling y'all, 2023, we need enrollment up. We're gonna start Hope Diller University, where we're doing our own coaching and real estate. So yeah, this 23. I mean, join some type of academy, whether it's Bossed Up, Hope University, whatever it is. You'll find your favorite mentor. Join some type of movement. That's what we got to do.
Well, thank you so much. And everybody, thank you. And we had great comments and a lot of engagement and participation. Share it with a friend. Share this video with a friend. It might inspire them to do something great or to change their life in 2023 as they prepare for this new year as to what they need to do, both, you know, personally, financially, and professionally. So again, thank you all.
Oh yeah.